I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co., and this is neither an unboxing, nor a review, nor a gameplay, none of the typical things you see on this channel. Rather, this is a first versus second edition comparison video. Half comparison, half just educational talking about what's there. But the basic idea is this is Oathsworn Into the Deepwood. One of the best games I've ever played. Arguably, dungeon crawler-wise, if I'm talking about campaign dungeon crawlers, this is up there. This is up there. We'll get into final. It's always hard to review these things or to compare these things because the comparison you have and the thoughts and feelings you have after playing a game for one scenario, for 5 scenarios, for 100 hours, those all change. Tenaris Adventures is one of my favorite campaign games of all time, arguably my favorite, but I will say that once you're 150, 200 hours into it, it does go down a bit as you spend that much time in a system. Familiarity doesn't necessarily breed contempt, but does breed a lack of that magic of trying to see what's out there. Agamonia is another one that I'm incredibly excited to dive into, but I've only ever played the tutorial scenarios. There's 3 tutorials that give you the scenarios that give you, like, bring you up to speed. I've gotten the newest edition. I've already started playing it again, and it's just as good as I remember. But again, until I'm, 20 scenarios into it, it's a harder conversation as to how I feel. So, Oathsworn, very hyped about it, very buzzed about it, still, after all this time, and I'll explain why in a second, but also I need to play it more. The playing it more part, this is where I'm explaining in a second, I could have just done it. The playing it more part is effectively, I ideally want to do a campaign full filmed playthrough of this game. Ideally. And so to that end, I've played the first scenario like 5 times by now, and I've played like a few following scenarios, but I've never really gone that deep into the game. I've enjoyed the game and seen what the game has to offer, but I haven't gotten even halfway into it. Maybe a quarter of the way into it. Well, I think it's 20 scenarios, so not even a quarter of the way into it. But I've played that first scenario, like I said, around 5 times or so. But so I really like Oathsworn. I think it's a great game. I'm hoping to do a campaign playthrough at some point in the channel. Maybe. If I do, great. If I don't, if I eventually give up and just play it on my own, that can happen. But ultimately, I really, really like and recommend this game. But the caveat is, I haven't played through the entire thing. So maybe my opinion changes as I go through it. Although from what I've heard, my opinion might only get better. This is a long intro to a video comparison. Basically, where are we? So this is 2nd edition Oathsworn. 2nd edition Oathsworn, I want to go through what is new to 2nd edition. Because I have all the 2nd edition stuff, and I didn't want to do an unboxing, because I've already done an unboxing, and it's basically the same stuff with improvements. Because the 2nd edition covered a bunch of things. There were upgraded miniatures, which we're going to show you in this video. There's some glam components or whatnot, some upgraded dice, a dice tray, things like that. And I'll show you all of those as well as we go through this. Some of the upgraded stuff are stuff they've already had, or I guess not really upgraded. Some of the deluxeified stuff is stuff they've already had, like the metal coins and the map and things like that already exist. But I'll show you a bunch of things throughout this, and I'll talk about what's new to the campaign. During the campaign, they had a upgrade pack. I don't even know if they're currently available or not, or if you're just talking about first versus second. But they had upgrade packs for the game that gave you opportunities to get some of the new stuff in different degrees of, well, what new stuff they had. They had 2 different upgrade packs, if I recall correctly. But the basic things is, like I said already, they have upgraded miniatures is going to be one thing. And that will show you, well, actually I'll show you that, shortly. But additionally, they had upgraded glitz components, dice, metal dice, upgraded dice, a dice tray, things like that. And then a big thing, probably the best thing, because right now I'm spending a lot of time focusing on like the stuff that make it more glitzy, but honestly that's not even the most important thing, or at least it shouldn't be the most important thing. Make no mistake, I am definitely compelled and sold to by nice miniatures and all that, but it's not the thing that makes the game great, it's the thing that makes a great game better. And so this is making a great game better, but the biggest thing I'd say is the rulebook clarifications, the scenarios, the storybooks, the encounter books, the rule books. Things have been updated and improved upon from 1st edition to 2nd edition. Cards have been tweaked to a degree, so there's been lots of things that have gotten improvements from 1st edition to 2nd edition based on all the feedback of the players who, well, played it. And that's arguably the most important thing. I never thought the Oathsworn rulebook was that bad, but I do agree for how simple the game actually is. I do think the rulebook could be better. So that's small stuff like that. And then obviously encounter, story, all those things as well. There's also a secret box, which I did bring here and I will be opening. I have no idea what's in this. I have no idea if I'm going to be ruining your surprise or my surprise. I have no idea if it's going to cause major issues for it. It doesn't say don't open it. It says you may open this box. So at the end of this video, with an appropriate warning and timestamp and everything to tell you that this is a spoiler, I will be opening this box to see what's in it. I genuinely have no idea. Anyways, let's show you some of the things over here. The biggest thing, well, not the biggest thing. One of the things is going to be the upgraded miniatures. To that end, we have over here, we have these miniature trays over here. This is going to be the 1st edition. And the 1st edition, honestly, I should be able to tell. Here's an interesting bit, because if I mix these up, am I in trouble? Do I not realize which one goes where or all of that? But we'll find out shortly. But the first edition, basically, things shake apart a drop more. The push-to-fit miniatures, they have push-to-fit miniatures, high quality, I think it was Hips Plastic if I'm not mistaken, but high quality push-to-fit miniatures in the game. And one of the reasons you want that aspect is you're going to have characters who, over here, if I go ahead and pull off their arm, well later if you have the armory pack, you can put into it, you can put different things into that arm instead. So this is going to go ahead, you can go ahead and push that into that over there, and then you go ahead, give it a little squeeze, and ideally, wiggle, 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 it doesn't come apart, ideally. So the old ones are not bad. I'm 99% sure this is the old tray. But I think, like, this is a good example of actually one of the worst miniatures. This is one of the worst miniatures. Arguably, this is the worst one in first and second edition. So I'm going to show you this one in first and second edition. I think that this is going to come off. I think. We're going to find out. I'm going to squeeze it a bit in the center. The old ones, you want to put them together. The head comes off. Head goes on and off. The body comes together. I believe the new ones are glued except for the arm stuff. I believe. But let's go ahead and push this in. One of the things you have to do is you have to give it a push in the center of the body, and that would make it better ideally. We're going to try it. That didn't last long at all. That didn't last long at all. Now, again, this is, I think they've just done small tweaks to improve the quality. And again, this is one of the worst ones. So I don't want to tell you that the old edition is bad. It's genuinely not. But the old edition wasn't perfect. And from what I've seen of the new ones so far, they seem perfect. But again, I'm going to push it in. Let's give it a rotate, a squeeze for the sake of closing it or whatnot. And then again, shake. There we go. It falls off again. So, and make no mistake, your ideal miniature presentation does not involve squeezing and shaking it around. And this is the worst one. So, for example, this guy over here, this guy's on his arm, like this arm over here, it does come off, as you can see over here. It goes back on. And this one, no matter how hard I shake it, in theory, yeah, that one stays together. So it is a case by case, situation by situation. I believe her as a runner, her things I think come off. Nope. Oh, no, there it is. It does come off. It does come off. And then that's, again, that's the first edition over here. So let's go ahead and show you some of the second edition stuff so you can compare. And again, this is just quality of life improvements. It's not, it fell off right there. So second edition over here, in theory, let's give it as hard as I can. Shit. Well, here it came off the base over there, so there is that. But let's go ahead and put that back on over here. And, well, the question is, do I want to hold it from the base? But the arm stuff not coming off no matter how hard I shake that over there. And let's take a look at this one over here, which again, this one does come off, you know, comes off completely, so it still does come off like it's supposed to. And then ideally, if I do this a shake, 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 we're gonna shake different angles, different ways, as hard as I can, and nothing. So yeah, you can see there is, again, not necessarily perfect. That Ranger did come off of the base, which I did not expect, but overall the quality has improved. In fact, I think this might work. I don't know if this will. I'm testing this on camera, but over here, if I give this a bit of a shake, you can see how things are falling apart. So this person over here, did they have a bit fall off? They had a bit fall off. This person, no. This person, no. This person, her arm fell off. 2 arms fell off. This person fell apart. So you can see over here, a shake on here. This person completely fell apart. If you shake this tray over here like so, that gives a big fall apart over there. Versus, and again, have not tried this. I don't know if it's going to work overall, but let's give it a bit of a shake. Okay, so we still do have her. Her arm fell off, but he's still fine. He's still fine. 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 Yeah, everything else looks fine. We had 1 arm fall off. So, and again, I think let's go ahead and give this a... Honestly, I'm realizing now I'm probably risking breaking these, but hey, for the sake of science. But if I push this back on again, if I give this a shake over here, it's not coming off. So now that I spent way too much of my life shaking a bunch of miniatures to show you the difference between first edition and second edition, is there a difference in the labeling? Well, now that I've done that, let's go ahead and show you some other things. They both say the same thing. Which one is the first edition? Oh, darn it. This one has a nice groove on it, which makes me think it's the second edition. Maybe? No, I don't think it is. I don't think it is. I think maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. No. This one goes in here like so. Maybe it is. I think that makes... I can always go back later and check. Oh, this is second edition. This is second edition, because I can tell this has a similar... These ones are not the push to foot, they're the enemies, but this has a similar groove. So that's going to be the second edition stuff. And again, we'll go through the rest in a second, show you some other stuff. But honestly, from a visual display part, that's going to be the biggest thing you're going to get over here, because the rest of it's like, hey, here are rulebook changes. And I'm not going to try to find every single... This completely fell apart. Whoa, this completely fell apart. Oh, that's because of the legs. Yeah, I'm not going to reassemble it. It is what it is. We're going to go ahead and push this off to the side over here. That is your first edition miniatures. And let's keep going through the boxes and showing some more stuff. Again, I don't know if there's a lot to show you. I'll do a drop more over here as far as, you know, what's in the box. But there's not going to be so... Whoops, wrong way. There's not going to be a ton to show from the actual components here because the rest of it's going to be things that we can... Well, let's show you. Okay, so we got some dice over here. This is going to be relevant. We'll show you that in a second. We have this little guy over here, which I don't remember this from the first edition, but we'll see. That's a fun little guy. I don't remember that, but I could be mistaken. That's that. And then down here, we also have some metal dice over here. And that's, you know, these ones over here. There we go. So we got some metal dice. I don't think we'll... Oh, you know what? Let's keep those. Let's keep those. I want to show you some stuff. I don't know if there's a ton else to show you in here. There's going to be the actual books, which we'll pull out in a second. Let's try to grab this like so, because I want to put this back as neatly as I can and remember how things go without having to go on and off camera. But here's going to be this. We're going to have that. And then we have all these various tokens and things, the various component bags down here, all those various things for the various characters and stuff. Anything else underneath here? We have our tiles underneath here. We have that. I think we're good. I think we're good as far as everything else. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and take this out. Are those new? Those are not new. This new? I don't believe so. Nope, perfect. Okay, so let's go ahead and show you the other things as we can over here, as much as we can. And to that end, we have a few things. First of all, we have the upgraded storybook, the rule books, the encounter books, all these things over here. And again, there's not much I can really show you because what am I going to do? Point to word by word what changed. Ultimately, things have been changed or tweaked or adjusted. These are going to be your 2 storybooks for the all of Oathsworn campaign. A lot of good stuff over here. We have, well, this little separator over here, which we'll put in between just in case that was relevant. And then we have our encounter rulebook and our encounter book, and our story rulebook over here. So all the various things and another separator sheet. But if we look at the encounter rulebook, I'm curious if I notice any changes just from the formatting. But again, I'd have to remember from reading the original. And at a glance, I wonder, this vaguely feels... This feels like it might have been different from the first edition, but I'm not sure. But overall, it generally looks the same. I'd have to try to figure out what's different here. Like, I don't know. I don't know if I can remember exactly the differences. It overall looks like the same general structure, but I'm sure there are some differences to it. And again, I'm just trying to remember reading a rulebook a long time ago. But yeah, I mean, it's a different rulebook. That's all I know. Different adjustments to it to whatever degree. I don't know what to show you. It's updated stuff that is important based on the feedback given, but again, without showing you side by side and trying to find the differences, I don't know there's a lot of value added content for you there. Things have changed, cards have changed, stuff has been improved, in theory, and then that's that. Which means the next thing is to show you some of the upgraded bits, which I'm going to leave this box a little bit open, I guess, because some of the things I want to show you, some of the comparisons or whatnot. But first of all, we have these dice over here. So these are going to be your Oathsworn dice for the game. We have these. We can probably zoom in again in a second. Let's go ahead and show you some basic Oathsworn dice. These are the dice you're rolling, and one of the things you have over here is you're going to have your upgraded dice. So these are going to be one of the things you can get as far as upgrading or improving your game. Oathsworn upgraded dice, where the bag won't open yet. And we'll go ahead and dump these out over here. We'll have to individually pull these out. But you can just see a sample over here. These are basically marbleized dice, which if you know me from Cthulhu Death May Die is going to be one of the games where I love the marbleized dice. But these are actually very, very nice as well. But I do think the right dice can sometimes be worth the cost. You know, if you're sitting there with dozens of hours in a game, hundreds of hours in a game, sometimes improving the quality of your experience is worth it. Sometimes not. And it's case by case. For me, I would say most of the time when I get upgraded dice, I often look back and think the regular dice are fine. It's okay. Most of the time. I'd say maybe 70% of the time, it's a rough number, are going to be where I feel I didn't need to pay for the upgraded dice. And then there are times when I'm like, they're totally worth it. Cthulhu Death May Die is going to be my classic example always of a game where the upgraded dice are just so much nicer. Now over here, it's a little bit of a 50-50. I'll explain what I mean in a second. But if I look at most of these, I think the upgraded dice are much nicer. So if you see over here, just look at the visual prettiness of those marbleized dice versus these harsher colors. These are amazing and so much better. And similarly, if I look at, let's say, these black dice over here and do the exact same comparison, which one to you looks better? To me, these are so much better. And then we get to the white ones where again, and the white ones are actually a little interesting because these have a different texture. It's almost more marbleized, but I still think that the white ones on this side, they feel, these is like, I could argue the look is cleaner and better here, but the feel in my hands of these, they feel cooler. They do. There's no question. Now, I've been saving this for last for a reason. The yellow ones are the only ones where I feel the clarity, the visual clarity on these is a drop lacking compared to these. I don't know what it is about them, but even just looking at my hands right now, at a glance, you can see exactly what numbers are here. Versus over here, for me, I can see there are numbers, but it's not as immediately clear that I have a 1, a 3, a 3, and a 6. It's a little bit obfuscated. There's a little bit of, I don't know what it is about them, versus I don't have that problem at all with any of these other colors. If I go ahead and just show you a handful of dice over here, the red is immediately obvious to me, although that red looks black in that angle. That's because it is black, never mind. But that red, where's the red? We need more reds in my hand. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and show you this over here. There we go. So we have, to me, the other colors look very, very obvious, and the yellow is the only one that's a drop obfuscated. So I still like them, I still prefer them, but that's the only one where I come to the conversation with caveats. So that's going to be these upgraded dice. I believe the other dice are already marbleized or more deluxe or whatever it is, so it is what it is. Now, as usual, that means you have two things. You have more dice if you need them, although Oathsworn's not a game where I ever felt that I needed more dice. Like Cthulhu May Die is a game where I want all the players at the table to have their own dice. That's not the case with Oathsworn. So we're going to go ahead and put these back over here, and these can go away. Now you also, one of the nice upgrades you have is these metal dice over here in 2nd edition. So if I show you these, this is unfortunate because there's only so much you can do on camera here, but these are metal dice. They're fun, they're hefty, I like them. They feel cool, they look cool. They're not as immediately obvious at a glance. I mean, I think they're even these I think are more obvious to see than the yellow dice, I think. But you know, you roll these over here, they roll nicely, they have heft but not too much heft. They don't feel like they're gonna break the table, they have slightly rounded edges as opposed to harsh edges. These are really, really nice metal dice. Really, really nice. The question is, which ones are they replacing? It doesn't look like they're replacing a specific thing so much as being regular dice, but I like these a lot. These are very, very nice, so quality life improvement there. And then I think from there we mostly have like the dice tray, some bags, there's some character bags. So one of the things they add over here is they added individual character cloth bags. So instead of having to deal with the plastic bags for your characters, you actually have upgraded components over here for these bags of giving you just, you know, cooler things to hold your various stuff, higher quality stuff. So if you're looking at these, for example, you know, you have Huntress has her own actual cloth bag compared to the plasticky bag that's in here, which maybe I can show you. One second, let me see if I can show you a bag. If we go over here, I guess this will count. So, I mean, it's not the exact same, but you'll see if actually we can show you bag to bag. So here's the free company bag that holds your things from the general free company, and we have the plastic bag, which does the job. There's nothing wrong with this, but we have slightly more premium cloth bags over here, which feel nice and do the job, well, better. But same, it's just a quality of life upgrade. That's going to be your bags over here, which we're going to put to the side, and this, which we're going to try not to lose because I don't want to lose anything. And then, lastly, before the secret box that you totally don't want to stick around for, we're going to take these and put these off to the side. We're going to keep this out over here. We'll show you the dice tray. So we have a dice tray as well. This is a nice dice tray. I'll show you in a second. Again, I say nice to pause because my favorite dice trays are still ones you've seen on camera a lot. Although they're from a company which is not my favorite company, so there is that trade-off over here. This is a large dice tray. Now, I do like the type of dice tray. This is a similar type as the type of dice tray I like. There's different types. There's the ones that have a bend to them. I don't know if you how familiar are with different dice trays, but the ones that are kind of more silicone that fold upwards, I don't like those at all. They are functional, I just don't like the look. I like the look of a nice clean dice tray like this. The only thing I don't like about this one is the fact that it's a little larger than the typical dice tray size I actually do like. Where are my dice trays? Are they all? They're all hidden. I don't know where my dice trays are, so I can't show you my dice trays. I thought they were down here. Huh. Where in the world did my dice trays go? This is a conversation for a different time. But they used to be on a shelf here. I must have moved them and forgot where I put them. Anyways, my favorite dice trays are a little smaller than this one, which is the main thing over here. But this over here, I do like the style of dice tray. This is the type I like. It's a little firmer. It's very flat. You can go ahead and roll your dice. Do I really have to take out my dice again? I guess I'll take out the metal dice. Those are fun to roll. So if we take these dice over here and we go ahead and give them a little roll, there we go. We got 3, 3, 5, and 6. Congratulations, Alex. Your numeric comprehension is exactly where it needs to be. But yeah, again, nice thing over here, which means we have metal coins, but I don't know if I'm going to bother showing you those. I mean, these are, maybe I'll show you a few coins. I'm not going to open all the bags. But metal coins is something they had in the original campaign. They have different denominations for them, but they do look basically the same regardless of which denomination you have. And I believe they're the same on both sides. So over here, we got these metal coins. And again, different denominations of them. We have the 1s, the 5s, all of those things. I think that goes higher than that. I think it goes to 20s as well. That's going to be your metal coins. They're cool. They do the job. I'm not like the metal dice, those all rave about. The metal coins are good. I've seen far worse. I've seen far better, but they are good metal coins. Which means it's time for the thing you're here for, which is the secret box. And my knife is off to the side over here. So let's go ahead and grab my knife. And Appropriate spoiler warnings. We are about to dive into a secret box, a box you have never seen before unless you've gone and opened your own box or watched another video where they open the box. This is your spoiler pause as I simply ramble for like 25 seconds so that the person who's in the kitchen can go run to the TV and rapidly stop it, because do you watch me on a TV? Like, I only watch YouTube on my phone and a computer, but I've heard people who say, like, they watch me on a TV. One time, a long time ago, a video I recommend you check out, this is all going on the spoiler tag, a video I recommend you check out is, I did a video, is Kickstarter good for the board game industry or not? And it was a choose your own adventure video. It was basically, you choose what you think, and then I went on a rant about how it is or isn't, depending on which option you wanted. But you had to watch the video, and then select which video you wanted to watch next. And I thought it was a really clever, fun idea. Not my own idea. I've seen choose your own adventure YouTube things. I'm not, like, new to YouTube, but, like, I've seen it. It wasn't like, it was just, I thought it was a fun execution of an idea that's been done before within my videos. And I really enjoyed it. But I had a lot of people, a surprising amount of people who were like, I watch you on a TV. I can't do that. I can't choose which video to watch next. So, like, I didn't get to see. And I'm like, you can watch me on a computer or a phone for that one time, but, like, I thought it was interesting because I don't ever, like, not never, I rarely ever watch YouTube on TVs. To me, it's always phones and computers. So I was like, oh, a larger segment than I thought. Watch me in a way where they can't really choose what segment to watch next. So there's that. Also this nice and neat sharpening. Anyways, now that we've gotten that out of the way, it's also why I'm more mindful when I give spoiler warnings. I'm mindful sometimes that sometimes people can't just, ever since that video, I'm more mindful that sometimes there are situations where someone can't just stop watching. They might have to run and pause the TV or find the remote or any of those things. Anyways, let's go ahead and open this up now because I want to see what's in the box. So your spoiler warning has been much longer than it needs to be. This box is also much harder to open than I think it would be. I don't want to break it. Ooh. Oh, I see what we got here. I see what we got here. So they had stuff like this in the visual campaign, but we have a new one. We have a new one over here. This is a new little miniature over here. You can just open this whenever you want. This is just basically a fun little miniature. So they had the bear one last time. I have it somewhere in my house. But now they have a new one. A new painted giant miniature, which is cool. I like it. It's not really a gameplay useful. At least I don't think it is. I don't think this is a giant miniature goes on the map. Maybe it is. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it is gameplay useful. I wouldn't know yet. Anyways, we got the painted miniature, which is a nice piece over here. Should I put it? The question is, do I put it on the shelf behind me? Because I do like throwing the occasional miniature behind me, but I also don't know. Also, where's my bear one? Now I want to go find my bear one and put both of them up there. I might put them on the shelf behind me, but one step at a time. Anyways, that has been your Oathsworn First Edition versus Second Edition. A bunch of quality life improvements, dice size, upgraded components, improved miniatures. Those are all the things if you are someone who is looking and wants to know more. If you are currently happy with your First Edition Oathsworn, you should remain happy with it. Genuinely, everything that's been great along the way is going to continue to be great. If you do want those quality life improvements, you can certainly go ahead and get them, but you don't have to. One of the things, I remember Isaac Childress a long time ago when he I'll put this in here. A long time ago, Isaac Childress did a blog post around, what was it around? It was around, it was around Gloomhaven 2nd Edition. And he's saying how he's like, a lot of people are not going to be happy because, you know, you bought 1st Edition and there are some small quality life improvements. He's like, but also try to remember that while you're, this is before we got to like second edition. This is like first printing versus second printing. But he's like, also, but just try to remember that all the things you've enjoyed until now are still present. Nothing about those things has changed. Everything you've liked, everything that has made this game the #1 game of all time, Gloomhaven, when it was the #1 game of time, those things are still present. Yes, there are additional things that might be tempting you, and you might want those, and if you want them, by all means get them, but you certainly don't need them for it to be the experience that it has been until now. I think that's true with Oathsworn. Oathsworn is a very popular game that is doing very well, as it should do very well, because it's a very, well, good game. Where did this other thing go? It fell. But yeah, if you liked your copy until now, you will continue to like the copy. Everything I've liked about Oathsworn is still present. The rules I managed to get through just fine. I don't consider it one of the worst rulebooks I've ever read, not even close. I do consider a rulebook that could have been better. I don't have enough feedback on the encounters and components or other things to even care about necessarily. And the miniatures is a quality life upgrade, and the dice, I do like the dice, but and the quality of the bags. There's, again, a bunch of things to like, but nothing essential. Your current copy of Oathsworn, if you have it, is totally fine. And if you do want other stuff, you can get it. In any case, that has been Oathsworn First Edition versus Second Edition. Until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. Hope you found this video helpful, and as always, I hope you have a good one.